Have you noticed this strange pattern? People say, once I earn a little more, things will finally feel easier. And then they do earn more. But the stress doesn't leave, it just changes shape. For a lot of middle-class professionals in the US and Europe, money stress doesn't come from earning too little. It comes from how modern life quietly expands around every raise. Let's talk about that. Imagine a fairly normal situation. You're in your late 20s or early 30s. You have a degree, a stable job, maybe even a career path. Your gross salary is around $70,000 a year in the US, or 55,000 euros in Europe. On paper, that sounds solid. After tax, though, you're actually taking home closer to $4,200 a month. In some European countries, maybe 3,200 euros. Now let's see where that money goes. Rent or a mortgage takes $1,400. A car payment or lease is another $450. Insurance, fuel, and maintenance add $200. Student loans or consumer EMIs take $350. Groceries, utilities, phone subscriptions, another $700. Credit card minimums? Let's say $200. Before anything unexpected happens, you're already at about $3,300. That leaves roughly $900. And this is where people assume the problem is not earning enough. So they aim higher. A promotion comes, or a job change. Now you earn $90,000. Great! But after tax, that's not an extra $20,000 a year. It's more like $900 extra per month. And quietly, without a conscious decision, life adjusts. The apartment gets nicer. The car becomes newer. The trips become more frequent. The lifestyle becomes more appropriate for your income. Soon, that extra $900 disappears, and somehow the stress remains. Not because you failed, but because the system rewards consumption faster than it rewards security. The hidden mistake here isn't spending. It's assuming income is the solution to psychological pressure. Money stress isn't just math. It's about expectations, identity, and comparison. When your income rises, the baseline of what feels normal rises with it. What once felt like a luxury slowly becomes maintenance. A $450 car payment feels reasonable because everyone around you has one. A $2,000 apartment feels justified because it matches your stage of life. Carrying credit card balances feels temporary even when it isn't. This is not irresponsibility. It's adaptation. Humans are extremely good at normalizing higher costs when they're framed as progress. But here's the quiet math people don't usually run. A $500 higher monthly lifestyle doesn't just cost $500. It costs flexibility. That $500 invested conservatively over 20 years could grow into well over $200,000, but instead it gets locked into fixed payments that feel invisible after a few months. So when stress shows up, a job change, a health issue, a recession, there's no buffer. And the brain interprets that lack of buffer as danger. That's why earning more often doesn't feel safer. Psychologically, most people don't measure wealth by net worth. They measure it by comfort and appearance. Financially intelligent people do the opposite. They don't ask, can I afford this monthly payment? They ask, what does this reduce my future options? They're not obsessed with deprivation. They're obsessed with control. Control over time, control over stress, control over decisions when life doesn't go as planned. That's why two people earning the same income can experience completely different levels of financial anxiety. One has flexibility, the other has commitments. If this pattern is ignored, the long-term impact is subtle but serious. Raises feel smaller, job changes feel riskier, burnout feels harder to escape. Eventually, people reach their 40s earning more than they ever imagined and still feel trapped, not because they didn't work hard, but because income grew faster than intentional thinking. So the real shift isn't about earning less or living like a monk. It's about separating status spending from stress reduction. More income doesn't fix money stress by default. It only fixes it when it creates space, not just comfort. And that's a mental shift, not a financial trick. If this perspective helped you see your situation a little more clearly, you might want to subscribe, not for motivation, just for calmer, more rational conversations about money.